Hello everyone, welcome to my workshop. What's going on today? Well, I'm Crafty Valerie, and the first thing I want to say is a big thank you for those of you who have subscribed to my channel. You're so awesome. I had already talked to you about this subject in my previous video, but I wanted to make a separate video about sewing essential tools that you'll need. I know when I was first beginning to learn how to sew, I was lucky enough to have my mother, who also sews, to ask her when I came across a problem, hey, what do I need? I just made a mistake. Mom, can you help me? And she would say, yeah, you need to use this seam ripper or this tool. And so I know that that was very helpful. But some of you guys that don't have anyone that sews or don't know anyone that sews and might need some help, I wanted to give you some tips. So if you're just beginning to sew or have been sewing, I just wanted to help you by letting you know which essential tools you might need. Also, you don't realize it that when you start a hobby or a craft that you always need those special tools. So let's begin with the scissors. Your scissors are the number one essential tool. You'll need the scissors to cut your fabric, your pattern, or thread, and so on. It's always a good idea to have more than one scissors. One scissors just to cut fabric, and another pair of scissors to cut like your patterns and paper and stuff like that. It helps to keep your scissors from getting dull, and always having your fabric scissors nice and sharp. If your scissors do get dull, a good idea to get them sharp again is to get a piece of foil and cut through the foil. Or they also sell sharpeners that you can get to sharpen your scissors. This one I got from my mom. Besides your regular size scissors, you also will need small ones. These small little scissors are to snip thread, cut your stitches, or you'll need little scissors like this to cut your buttonholes. This will make it a lot easier than the big ones. Another essential sewing tool that you'll need is your seam ripper. This is very important to have for those mistakes that you'll make, like me. I used to use scissors to unsew my stitches, but that's not a good idea because it tears the fabric. So this is one of the tools that my mom recommended me to use. Also a good idea to have more than one. Next, you'll need your pins. Your pins are a helping tool for when you need to hold your fabric with your pattern, or like if you need to hold a ribbon to the fabric, so it can help hold it down. So pins are good to use so whenever you need to hold something while you're sewing. Just be careful where you store those pins. You don't want anyone getting pinned like this cat. A pin cushion is good to have to put your pins on. But don't get caught having a pin cushion like this woman. Sometimes your pins get a little rugged or rough and it's hard to push through the fabric. But I was told that if you stick your pins in a bar of soap, they make them smooth and easier to push through the fabric. As you begin to sew, you need to buy yourself a small package of needles. It's a good idea to have for when you need to sew something by hand, like a button. So it's good to have them handy. When you're threading your needle, sometimes it's hard for the thread to go into the eye of the needle. So what I usually do is wet the tip of it, and that makes it easier to thread the needle. If you're going to be making or sewing some clothes, it's very important to know your body measurements. For this, you'll need a measuring tape. I posted a picture for you to show you how to measure the parts of your body. Another tool that you'll need is a ruler. Recommended to get a clear ruler like this one for those top measurements. When you're making and sewing stuff, you do a lot of measuring. But Once you get the hang of it, it's okay to guess or wing it. Unless you're a perfectionist like my son or my husband. As for me, I'm not too picky if it comes out a little crooked. I'm just having fun, keeping it crafty. If you don't have the space or a table to spread out your fabric, another good thing to have is a folding cutting board. You can find a cutting board at any Joann's fabric store. So you can spread out this cutting board like on your bed, or I sometimes use it on the floor. Last thing on my list today is an iron. For me, an iron is very important to have ready to go as you're sewing. You'll need an iron so you can press down on your seams, your hems, or your folds. It'll make it a lot easier to sew. So keep that iron handy and nearby so you don't have to go very far when you need it. Nowadays, there are so many tools that you can use to make your sewing life easier. But just having the ones I mentioned will help you tremendously. I'll be going over some more sewing tools in another video. If you have any suggestions or a tool that's been very helpful for you, please let me know and put them down on the comments. And if you're liking my videos, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up. And also, don't forget to push that subscribe button. Stay safe and remember to keep it 6 feet apart. Thank you for watching and have fun keeping it crafty.